From a remake of a retro classic to a brand new game from the creator of Dragon Ball, these are 15 JRPGs that were recently revealed that you need to know about. Now, before we dive into the video, let me tell you all about today's sponsor, Netmarble's 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. In this turn-based card battling RPG set in the world of 7 Deadly Sins, you are the main character and can explore a beautifully realized 3D world. You'll have to use your best strategies to win each battle, so make sure you plan each one accordingly. Now, right now, the game is celebrating its 4th anniversary with all kinds of cool events. Gift and Snatch will be running from May 30th through July 4th, which allows players to get all kinds of in-game items to power up your team. Just for logging in, you can get up to 300 diamonds, 3 festival heroes, and 264 free draws. This is great whether you're a brand new player or have been playing for years. The game is also introducing a new hero, Ban. You'll really be able to feel the heartfelt love story between him and Elaine, as told by her, which you can view in the game. And did I mention the game is totally free to play? So what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description below and start your 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross adventure today on iOS or Android. Thanks once again to Netmarble for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Now, starting off, we have a trio of RPGs from the good people at Atlus, the first of which is Persona 3 Reload. Now, this game had been rumored for years, but was recently revealed at Xbox's showcase of all places. And this isn't a remaster like we got earlier in the year. Oh no, this is a ground-up remake with an all-new visual style, revamped combat system, a brand new voice cast, and much more. Now, of all the Persona games, I feel like this one needed a remake the most just because how limited and how kind of funky this game is. And there really isn't one definitive version. And it seems like there really won't be either, as there's some caveats with this one. Atlus has confirmed that there won't be a female main character, and possibly not even the FES epilogue The Answer. However, in recent days, Atlus has corrected that slightly to say that while the answer won't be there in its original form, like as an epilogue, that they may integrate it seamlessly into the full game. Now, outside of an early 2024 release window, we don't really know much else about this remake, but I am really looking forward to learning more and playing it next year. Now, speaking of Persona, what would you say about a Persona tactical RPG? Well, lucky for you, we're getting one in the form of Persona 5 Tactica. Now, this is the 3rd Persona 5 spinoff, maybe the 4th if you count Persona Q2, and the Phantom Thieves once again are fending off evil. In this game, they team up with the leader of the Rebel Corps, a new character named Arena. Now, like I said, this is a tactical RPG, but what's really cool is it uses all the mechanics from the Persona series, like weaknesses, follow-up attacks, and even all-out attacks. Now, to me, the only thing that's kind of a bummer is it uses a chibi art style, very reminiscent of Persona Q, but still, it's got a nice stylish look to it. Once again, little else is known, but it is coming soon, November 17th of this year, so we won't have to wait too long. Now, if you're wondering what the team that made Persona 5 has been up to since 2016, check this out. Originally announced as Project Re-Fantasy, Metaphor Re-Fantasio is Atlus's take on high fantasy. Director Katsuro Hashino said in a recent video that the Persona series was their way of having a unique footprint on the industry, as most RPGs at the time were fantasy, and there weren't a ton in modern setting. Having now directed 3 mainline Persona games, him and the team wanted to try their hand at the fantasy genre and put their own unique spin on it. And boy, is it unique. The art style is just unreal. Super gorgeous, crisp characters, a very painful looking environment, and once again, a completely mind-blowing UI. And this seems to be retaining a lot of the concepts that made Persona great, like turn-based combat, some kind of social link / bonding system, and a deep, rich story. Now, the director did say in a recent video that the main theme of the game is facing your fears. Now, I'm not sure how that's going to manifest in the story itself, but I'm looking forward to diving in next year once it releases. Now, if you can't wait until next year to play a great new JRPG, let's take a look at the latest entry in the Like a Dragon series coming later this year. And to be honest, Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name's gotta be one of the longest names in a while. Now, this takes place after Yakuza 6, where Kazuma Kiryu has faked his own death to protect his foster child and is now living as a secret agent named Joryu. And this takes place across Sotenbori Osaka, Izazaki, Ichinjo, Yokohama, as well as the castle, kind of known for its plethora of minigames. And in this game, there will be 2 styles of combat, Yakuza and Agent. The Yakuza style is a much more in-your-face brawler style, whereas Agent is much more precise with some gadgets. We're definitely in for some more fun and wacky antics this series is known for, and we won't have to wait too much longer as it comes out this November 9th. Now, what if I told you the next mainline entry in the Like a Dragon series takes place in Hawaii? Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth continues the adventures of Ichiban Kasuga, the star of Yakuza Like a Dragon. In his debut trailer, it shows him basically walking around naked on the shores of Hawaii. Now, Studio RGG did not confirm nor deny that this was Hawaii, but considering everyone speaking English and the general look, it's a safe assumption that this will be in Hawaii. And this game will also be continuing down the series' turn-based combat route. There's no new details on the combat and very little was shown so far. And it's kind of also unclear what the subtitle of Infinite Wealth means or why Ichiban is in Hawaii to begin with. There will be another RGG summit this fall with the game releasing in early 2024. I gotta say, I love seeing big studios supporting long-running franchises in cool new ways. But if you want to see a gorgeous game in a brand new franchise from Capcom, take a look at this. Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess looks absolutely stunning when it debuted at Xbox's showcase. Many people thought it might have been an Onimusha game, as this was rumored to return, but it probably shares more heritage with another Capcom classic, Okami. It has an absolutely stunning Japanese-style aesthetic, very vibrant and very colorful. The website does give a very brief story setup. Apparently there's a secret mountain that's been defiled, and the defilement has spread across the land as a blight, summoning creatures called the Seath. And from there, a Spirit Stone maiden needs to perform a rite of cleansing to get rid of this, but needs a guide to protect her. So it sounds like we're going to be this maiden's guide to get to the top of the mountain to cleanse this plague. Now it's unclear what the gameplay mechanics will be like outside of it just being an action game, or if it even will be an RPG, but honestly it looked too good not to bring it up in this video. Now speaking of games that look really good, taking a look at this beautiful indie RPG. Bloomtown, A Different Story mixes turn-based combat, monster taming, and social sim elements set in 1960s America. When I watch this trailer, I'm getting a mix of Persona and Earthbound with a little sprinkle of Stranger Things. The juxtaposition of the cozy American town with this dark, demonic world is really cool. Also, I love that the kids here just straight up have guns. It has an absolutely gorgeous pixel art style and one worth keeping an eye on when it releases sometime soon. Now, speaking of releasing soon, this fun-looking dungeon crawler drops this October. From Marvelous and Xseed, we have Silent Hope. It mixes action dungeon crawling elements with some life sim aspects. Essentially, it looks like you'll crawl through dungeons, fight monsters, collect resources, and then bring them back to the surface to upgrade your town. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the art style. It's kind of chibi and it looks kind of cheap. I don't like it too much, but on paper, this game sounds so fun. It sounds like such a great loop of dungeon crawling, fighting, mixes and matches of different classes and different ways to fight, and then upgrading your town. And I'm really looking forward to checking it out this October. Now, if you can't get enough life sim goodness with Marvelous and Xseed, take a look at this new Rune Factory game. Simply titled Rune Factory Project Dragon for now, this game looks so cool. It brings a brand new art style, setting, and gameplay to the series. It's obviously very Japanese themed from all the different aesthetics, the clothing, and things like that. Has a crisp new art style, and it kind of looks open world, or at the very least it has some bigger zones. And obviously there's dragons included in some way. To what extent, I'm not sure, but they're very prominently featured in the trailer. Now, they didn't really show much more of this, but from what they have shown so far, it looks great. Now, if you want to get excited for a game that shows more than this and is coming this year, check out this remake to a beloved classic. That's right, the Super Nintendo classic Super Mario RPG is getting a full remake for Nintendo Switch. Everything from enhanced visuals, gameplay, music, and more. Now, there were rumors of this game leading up to the Direct, but it was still a really cool surprise. Now, it's hard to tell if they're adding anything new based on this short trailer, but from what they've shown so far, it looks very faithful to the original. Also, the original composer, Yoko Shimomura, is working on the music here, so that is great news. And the really cool thing is we don't have to wait too long, as it's coming November 17th. Now, speaking of cool-looking retro remakes from Square, take a look at Star Ocean 2. Now, of all the games at the recent Nintendo Direct, this is the one that stole the show in my opinion. And again, there were rumors of this, but would it just be a simple remaster like one? Oh no, this is HD 2D with similar proportion sprites like the original game, set in these gorgeous 3D environments. Oh my god, it just looks so good. And even the new character portrait art looks incredible as well. And they seem to have overhauled the combat a little bit. It still will be 2D and action oriented, but it seems like you can call in characters that are not in your main party to do special attacks, kind of reminiscent of Tales of Arise. Again, for this one, we won't have to wait too much longer as it's coming November 2nd. Man, Square Enix really showed up big in this Direct. Now, speaking of Square, check out this new Dragon Quest game. The Dragon Quest monster games have sort of been the unsung spin-offs of the mainline series, so it's cool to see a big new one here with the Dark Prince. This is sort of Dragon Quest take on Pokemon, where you go around, catch monsters from the Dragon Quest universe, and fight with them. Now, to be totally honest with you, I'm not super familiar with the series, so I don't know what's new here, but obviously there's better visuals and a bigger world. And it's possibly set in a Dragon Quest IV world, as there's a tease with the hero from Dragon Quest IV at the end of the trailer. Personally, I've never played this series, but I might have to jump in here and check it out. Now, if you like that signature Akira Toriyama art style, you're gonna love this new game that he's working on called Sandland. Based on a manga from the early 2000s, it's also getting an animated film later this year. In the game, you play as a character named Beelzebub, a fiend prince who leads his band of misfits across this gorgeous desert world. Details are pretty sparse at this point, but it seems very exploration focused, and you seem to be using a lot of different vehicles and ways you can explore the world, from tanks, dinosaurs, robots, and much more. And it appears vehicle combat will be very prominent in the game. Now, on the game's website, it's listed as an action RPG, and the developer is Ilka, the team behind the recently released One Piece Odyssey. And I have to say, the visuals look really cool. I love the cel-shaded look here, and those other kind of pen stroke looking details in the character models, they look fantastic. And to be honest, I kind of love that it's sort of a strange cast of characters. It's very unique, not like a typical JRPG, so this one could be kind of cool. There's no date or even release window yet though, but from what they've shown, it looks pretty promising. Now, speaking of games that don't have release dates, let's take a look at the latest from the Nexomon series. Nexomon 3 is the latest in the Pokemon-inspired monster collecting franchise. I actually really enjoyed the last entry, Nexomon Extinction, but here it's a brand new game, fully 3D, cool new art style, and seemingly a huge world. But basically the game's existence and this little time lapse is all we have. That said, I am looking forward to learning more and seeing how they evolve into this new 3D style. Now, to cap this video off, we have a sequel to one of my favorite games of the last few years, Dark Deity 2. Dark Deity 2 is a follow-up to the indie strategy RPG. It's obviously very inspired by the Game Boy Advance era Fire Emblem games, and it's one of the best strategy RPGs of its kind. The sequel looks like it's taking an East meets West approach, as there's cowboys, Spartan-looking armor, and even some Eastern-inspired outfits. And they've shown some really cool abilities, like one where you throw a monkey at an enemy or something. I don't know, it looks cool. To me, they've absolutely nailed the gameplay, but I hope they can craft a more compelling story because the first one was kind of middling. But even if they don't, I'll happily take more of the same because that gameplay is excellent. Now, there's no date or window yet, but it is coming to PC. Now, those are JRPGs that you can look forward to in the future, but if you want to check out some hidden gem JRPGs that you can play right now, make sure you check out this video right here. And special thanks to Reset Switch, Tyler Kuzawa, and the Miyazaki Man for supporting me over on Patreon. To get exclusive videos and other cool perks, consider supporting me over on patreon.com/thegamingshelf. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.